More of these. Oh my god. Prototype. I'm doing alright. I have a mild headache, but dealing with it, as you do. Probably not gonna be a very long stream today though. Sure, I guess I'll do it. Why not? Nope. Nope. Good try. I mean, it would be nice if I had like slightly higher level cash rooms eventually, but I don't think it matters too much. Oh yeah, battlefields. I gotta find some time to do this before the end of the week. And info on a day, we'll give global info, starting to know what changes we'll get on our version. They didn't give us anything, but the expectation right now is we're gonna have like more information dump throughout the month of June, but we don't have like any specific dates. But yeah. Let me see if I can jump into one of these. Wow, there's fucking no one. That is crazy. Oh. I guess I'll just make a group. And this guy could be fine. Yeah, sure. You guys want a cleric? Yeah. But yeah, I would expect... same last, okay. I would expect, since we are getting major information in regards to Season 4 in like a week or so, I would expect there's probably gonna be like global information that are gonna drop around the same time, right? So Season 4 will be cool. Yeah, like that's honestly what I'm looking forward to right now. More so than anything, because like, dude, I mean, at this point, global is basically in 4 months. So, yeah. It's kind of crazy to think that it's almost gonna be a year between the Korean release and the global release. Crazy. I mean, it's not unheard of, right? That's typically what Korean games do, but yeah. Still a bit crazy. Now the thing is, right, when it comes to information that pertains to stuff like monetization and stuff, we are not gonna get anything until much closer than release, I think. Because typically speaking, they don't really... Out for delivery, okay. Because usually they don't really like give this type of information until it's like fully finalized right before the game release, right? So if we get information soon, I don't think it's gonna pertain to like monetization. We're probably gonna get like version information and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the full detail of the BM, I mean, you know, maybe they'll, you know, they'll tell us a couple of things. More specifically, you know, just reinforcing the fact that it's free to play. Maybe they're going to tell us that there's going to be like a Kuna alternative to buy the sub. But I don't think we're going to get like actual full-on information for the timing. Because these tend to be, you know, this type of information tends to be given much later. Make a break for the subs? Yeah, I know. Like, most people are waiting for this, especially with the reveal of Guild Wars 3, right? That's gonna raise people's expectations. Have you decided what class you will play on global? I mean... It's, again, very likely going to be Templar. But, you know, TBD based on what happens with the balance. I'm swapping from Templar to Glad. I mean, yeah, like, if you just want to play the better class, then that's the right move, right? Now, I do think Templar, like... I think low ping Templar has unexplored potential, in my opinion, which is why I kind of want to play it. I think it's better than what people make it out to be, you know? This group doesn't have much DPS, does it? Do you think it will be like a stream for NC West? Yeah, we're probably gonna get like a couple of broadcasts. I reckon we're probably going to get broadcast, and they're probably going to start using their like Western YouTube channel as well. I just hope they don't half-ass it. Is there already an official Discord for AION 2? Yeah, there's one. I mean, there's been one since the release of Korea. Like a global Discord, but it's been lighting up a bit more, like as of late. Not much is happening on it. Like in terms of official like communication, it's the stuff that you would expect. So you know, when they published the trailer yesterday, they pinged people saying that the website was updated and everything. But other than that, it's just the usual, like, you know, terminally online, like, nutcases active on it 24/7 and not much else. Why is this Templar eating so much shit? Yeah, this group is not spectacular. I'll say that. I don't know if we're gonna stick around. AION 2 Guild Wars 3 Riot MMO. Well, Riot MMO is still like a pipe dream, so I don't really like. Okay, even Guild Wars 3, at least we have an announcement now, but it's still gonna be like at least 2 years off, right? So yeah, but you know, on the positive side, basically, like, we're gonna get AION 2 Global, and like a year and a half later, we're gonna get Guild Wars 2, so... If AION 2 Global turns out, you know, to not be spectacular, then at least people will have, like, a backup. Which is always a good thing. Also means that NCSoft really need to, you know, knock it out of the park with AION 2. Because they're not going to have the exclusivity and like being a fresh new MMO with a fresh coat of paint like a very, very long time. In terms of, you know, the big ones. But yeah, all around pretty good, pretty cool. Yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with this group. I mean, Sakura's around. I guess we can do a couple of Transcendence. I think he had like a couple left, right? Why are these two guys always so slow? Is this guy dual boxing, do you think? Same legion and everything. Wait, all three of these are from the same legion. Yeah, that's a bit sus. Ah, whatever, man. Just fucking get through the dungeon. Yeah, these two guys are... Yeah, it's weird, man. The assassin is eating scheiße, dude. Also feels like none of them have life leech. Can people do 4-man dungeon on one PC? I mean, I can't say it's too surprising. I mean, especially since like you can macro it, so every character uses the same macro shared across every game, right? Like even without using like programs or anything, it's pretty easy to set up. And it's not like the dungeons are like very demanding or anything, but yeah. Like these two are definitely a little sussy. Yeah, this assassin is like not life leeching any. I think it just doesn't have any life leech set up. Some beta tasting this month. September could not come fast enough. Yeah. I mean, I was expecting September. Not getting a date is like kind of crazy though. I really was expecting like an actual day, you know. Although, at this point, I am fully expecting the game to be... Dude, what the... I'm fully expecting the game to be coming out on the 23rd to just mimic the AION 1 release. Anything about the beta? They haven't said anything. We don't even know if there's gonna be one. I mean, again, right? I'm not really expecting a beta. I am expecting like early access. The same they did with Throne, right? If they do a beta, it's gonna be like... It's gonna be a closed beta. With like invites, right? Like a CBT type stuff. Let me just get out of here, dude. Do you have some Transcendence left, Sakura, that you want to do? And they should invite Taiwan veterans who better to test it. Well, the thing is, right? On one front, sure, but on the other, like, people who play on Taiwan, what are they gonna test? They already know what the game is, right? Like, the thing is, when it comes to, like, the Taiwan people, the people who actively play on Taiwan, they don't really need to invite them to, like, a beta test. They need to full-on ask for feedback on the current game systems and stuff, right? That's if it works correctly, of course, right? And the relics. Like, it's still 4 months off, right? And they haven't really kicked out the advertising yet. But I'm probably gonna start spamming the NCA people pretty soon. You know, to let them know that if they want feedback, I'm here. You know, like I've already provided stuff, so. Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. I'm really gonna fucking try. Damn, no Chanta again. It's a huge talk we had, Giga DPS 1. Alright. Okay. Did you friend the guy, or did you just happen to join again? I guess I'll just replace this, whatever. Just remembered. Alright. I mean, same comp as yesterday. These could be some fast runs. Spent a bit of Kina to More for a couple of medals, moving up in the world with my plats. I have 73 now, so 47 away from buying the legs. I'll try to get the legs before season 4 at least. Should be able to do so. Get some progress in on the PvP side. Like at this point when it comes to Cleric, if I do any amount of like open world PvP, I'm just gonna try to like party up with someone else. Like it's just useless to go out on your own as a Cleric. It's just miserable. Want to play the game but no energy. Unfortunate. It's time to make a 50th ult. How about that? You know what, so Garrick, let's trade. You make the guides and the videos so I have time to play. This way, it's gonna give you something to do while your energy replenishes. That seems like a perfect trade. Imagine playing with 20 MS. Brother, could not be me. Add a 0, you know? I can, yeah. Can't imagine 20? Yeah, of course you wouldn't. Your Taiwanese filth. A 3 ping. Pah, disgusting. I spit on you. What am I gonna do until September? Yeah. I mean, you know what's funny, right? With the September release being confirmed, it basically means we're gonna do the entirety of Season 4 on Taiwan. All of it. Because it means that the game will come in global in Season 5. 5 season. It's basically almost gonna be a year between Korean, Taiwan, and global. A year, dude. People didn't wake up to fast forward in real life. Yeah, I'm just gonna like go into one of those centers to like get frozen for 4 months. Like wake me up in 4 months. What are the reasons behind not releasing it now? I mean, there could be a couple of reasons, right? It probably has to do with them wanting a stable version of the game and probably sorting out some legal stuff with some countries. Now with that said, I would assume that the legal stuff is probably already somewhat figured out since the game is like already banned in the, you know, the countries that don't allow gambling and stuff, right? So who knows? Because like most of the localization is done as well, and we already know. By the way, if you guys didn't know, it is confirmed we are getting Season 1. So as I thought, we are going to get Season 1. Need to have all the voices to other languages. I mean, English is already done. We already know that Japanese is mostly done already. Are they going to voice act in the other languages? Like, do we have confirmation for that? Like, are they going to do like French, Spanish, etc.? No date for September. I mean, they're probably just waiting last moment to not commit to anything. Amazon today was a mistake, yeah. I mean, localization is hard, man. I mean, localization was the reason why NCSoft dropped its Western branch, because it was more effort than it was worth for them. So hopefully history doesn't repeat itself, you know? But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like, we're gonna have to wait 4 months to go back to season 1. That's gonna be a little rough. Like, in the midst of, like, season 5. Yeah. Unless they do AI for the voices. I mean, they haven't really been... I mean, okay, some of the voices have, like, some really fucking heavy filters on them, right? So it's hard to know whether it's an actual person, but pretty much all of the MSQ is, like, real voice actors, right? Oh. I mean, he just has to cross the hallway. Fine. But, like... At least for the storyline and most of the NPC dialogue, it's gonna be real voices. A lot of the boss voices, though, maybe not. I have no idea. I mean, it's probably gonna be on Steam, right? The language information? Like, doesn't Steam have one of those, like, you know, charts that tells you the text localization versus the voice acting localization? Or is that not available on the page yet? Japan is the only Asia server? I mean... If you mean outside of the current ones, I believe so, yeah. Because they intend on having a Chinese one, but I think they dropped the plan. And the Japanese, like, the thing is with the Japanese server is the servers are going to be localized in Korea. So, you know. For global, yeah, for global I think so, yeah. Going back to season 1, you mean only content from Start on Taiwan? Yeah, like season 1 content. Like, you know, like Dropnut Cave, Crow Cave, Lower Abyss, you know, the very beginning, right? I checked the Steam page. And what is the result? Voice only English and Japanese, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Love me some season 1. I mean, they're gonna have text translation into other stuff. I for sure saw French and Spanish. You know, on top of the ones we already know about. Best balance will be latest, 5 stigmas, etc. Yeah. I would assume as well. It would be really fucking weird if they went through like the same patch cycle. It would be really fucking weird. But it's just going to be season 1 with like the season 5 QL basically. Which is gonna be a bit crazy. Like, the season 1 content is gonna be even easier than it already was because of the class adjustments.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
Spanish German will be UI and subtitles? Yeah. The usual then. Would be awesome for Cleric could be OP again. Nah, the balancing is gonna be the same as... I mean, maybe they are going to snapshot the balance. Like the level 45 balance, and that's what we're gonna get. So basically the balance we have right now is what we're gonna get. I don't know. Almost stigmas will be painful. We're probably gonna get like an accelerated schedule. I would imagine. They come with mostly all like QL can improve the game. Yeah. Like the only wild card is gonna be whether the snapshot of the QL and balancing is gonna be taking from season 5 or season 3, I guess, because of the level cap, right? I guess we'll see. One second. In 1 year, Gyro 3 beta? Yeah. That is gonna be... I mean, that was a bit of a surprise. I mean, it was and it wasn't. Because there were some, you know, words going around about it happening a little bit now. It's certainly gonna be interesting, though. It will. I mean, I'm certainly interested. I'll say that. I am interested. We'll just have to see exactly what direction they want to take with this game, though. Because, like, the thing with Guild Wars 2 is... like, it's a good game, but it's one of those games that isn't really, like... necessarily a game you commit to for, like, any specific reason. It's just a nice chill game, right? But the raiding experience is not spectacular. The PvP experience is not spectacular, right? So we'll have to see if they want to commit into more of one or the other. I mean, it's probably going to be a mostly PvE experience because, like, that's just what works in MMOs. Like, admittedly nowadays, if you want to make a successful MMO, you probably don't make it about PvP, like, at all. So it's probably going to be a more PvE focused experience, but the question is, are they going to like fully lean into, you know, the more serious side of PvE, or are they going to like leave it a bit more like of a casual experience like Guild Wars 2 was?
Esteemed pests, I cordially invite you into my wedding hall.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now tomorrow is gonna be the in-person like meeting in Korea. As far as I'm aware, there's not gonna be any online presence, right? It's just gonna be like a purely in-person thing, like, you know, opinion gathering, information sharing, stuff like that. I mean, basically what they just had in Taiwan, right? Maybe we'll have some fun snippet, but it's probably gonna be more of a, you know, please look forward to the broadcast on the 14th. It's probably just gonna be more of that. But surely the Koreans are gonna have, you know, good feedback to give the developers. I kinda hope they will do those meetings in global, by the way. Like, I will go. If they make those, I will go. I will personally walk up to Namjoon, right? Oh boy. And I'll give him a piece of my mind.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
Well, you should be potting that bleed, brother. You're gonna die. There we go. I believe they also mentioned a little bit ago that we would be getting another like UI update before season 4. Like, you know, with the group and alliance separation and better visibility on buffs and debuffs. Hopefully we'll get that soon. Hopefully it hasn't been postponed.
So noble, you know?
And still no skins. It's kind of crazy that I've run so many and haven't gotten skins yet. Damn, everyone left. How many do you have left, by the way, Sakura? Eight. Damn, I actually have less than you. Crazy. I guess I'll use some of these actually. Might as well get those out of the way today. 6 dungeons? Alright. Now dungeons have a bit more of. I have 24. Yeah, just a little bit more. I am 16 stigma shards away from being done with all of these, because I got this to level 20, which is gonna be nice for battlegrounds, and this is level 18 now. Like, I don't really need summon resurrection at level 20, but I might as well, right? I mean, fuck it, I might as well get all of them to level 20. Who knows? Can I craft any actually? Ah, yes. Gamba. Take it. Two more though, right? Yeah. Not quite. But yeah, I need to upgrade my weapon. Like that's gonna have to happen like relatively soon. So I'm probably gonna start saving up again to attempt the craft again. The only thing that sucks is like I really missed my window, man. The mats are fucking expensive. Like the fluxes are fucking 2 mil, dude. It's ridiculous. A Genesis weapon craft? Nah. This one is gonna have to wait. Like this one I'm going to make like naturally. By getting the pity tickets from Cleric, right? But I do need to get a horn weapon. Probably not before season 4, but I'm gonna start saving up for it for sure, yeah. What happened with those recipes they put in the patch notes and never came to the game? You want to upcraft from Crimson Dragon to Horn Dragon? No idea. Probably gonna get revived at some point. Gonna come back. Like that is one of the things I'm kind of waiting for. Like I'm not gonna stop buying mats. I'm just going to like save up my shit, essentially. Now I am also thinking about just making a second Ludra bracelet for the wisdom. That is also something I'm thinking about. Because it's not that expensive. It is a bit expensive, it's not that expensive. To at least get it running, right? Just for the sake of getting the 4% might. Reason Yellow Balls are expensive, normally alts are running dungeons. Yeah, I mean there's multiple reasons, right? They also... It's also like, there's a lot more people buying them, making the, you know, the Genesis crafts and prepping for Season 4. Like, there's a lot of people stockpiling as well for Season 4. Reduction in sugar minigames is also a reason, yeah. I mean, you do still get like a decent amount from sugar. But yeah, there's just more demand as well. Because now you actually have to use them for Genesis. Every character had its pool of keys. Yeah, but even after they removed that, like, the lowest historic of the like the gold fluxes was like a little bit before Caldrox came out, right? It was like 500k or something when I started buying them to make my my mace. And now with the arrival of Caldrix, with the Nemesis Dragon and so on and so forth, like it's 2 mil right now. Can I have both brooches before our group even cares Caldrix? What do you mean, why? Like you mean buying BOE? Does the brooch drop as a BOE actually? Red Bulls to that craft. I mean, they do exist in the client. Like they added it in season 2, but they haven't been using it yet. Are they outrageous that people can pay 250 million for the Sanctuary 3 material? Yeah. I kind of wish that wasn't the case, but I guess they added the BOE to still give you a reason to run it even after you have everything. But obviously, I'm not a fan of like there being a swiping option. Oh yeah, he already has a brooch. That's funny. Did he buy a BOE? Or do you think he bought a pilot? How much is a Caldrix pilot, actually? Pilot? Okay, makes sense. I wonder how much a Cleric's pilot is. I mean, considering the state of RMT, it's probably not very expensive. 30 USD? One clear for both clears. That's crazy, dude. Taiwan is a crazy region. You're running around with 134? Yeah, I mean, because they bought the mats from when people exploded, right? For both? 30 bucks for both clears? That's fucking insane, dude. Like, the pilot and RMT situation is so crazy on Taiwan that it's not even that expensive to not play the game. Insane. Taiwan region has always been IM2 Gelo, even IN1. They're shutting down IN1 Taiwan. Oh, are they? Are they shutting down the classic that they had running? What can you buy with 30 euro in Taiwan? A double Cleric's clear.
Esteemed pests, I cordially invite you.
Oh, you mean in real life? I mean, 30 bucks, and I don't know how the economy is over here, honestly. I'm not gonna pretend to know. Like, Taiwan in specific, I have no idea. I mean, Sakura can answer. Like 8 normal meals. I mean, same. I mean, it depends what you mean by a normal meal, you know? AION Taiwan is scheduled to officially end service. Damn. They're actually doing EOS on AION in Taiwan? That is insane. Is it? I mean, it's probably retail. Yeah, that's crazy. It's official AION. Yeah, retail is the OG version, right? That's what I mean. Like the one that's currently running in like 8.0. Almost 20 years. Yeah, I mean, still, you know, like retail is still going on like every region, and Taiwan is probably not the least active, so it's a bit crazy. Like, isn't retail still active in NA, even though it literally has 10 players?
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
Yeah. Like it's still like active in both NA and EU, even though it has like Z players. To the Northern Taiwan, yeah, I know. It's just, you know, it's a bit crazy. It's a bit like the difference between, you know, knowing it and actually playing it. It's crazy. Like Taiwan has been a, yeah, like legitimately, if you play on Taiwan and you don't RMT, you're just fucking up. Like honestly, right? Like, it's so incredibly cheap and normalized that it's just part of the regular game, you know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy it is. Dish out new transformation still, yeah, exactly. I mean, they probably have a handful of whales just keeping the game alive, right? Maybe that's not the case on Taiwan, although... I mean, I don't know. Who knows, right? Classic was fire. They don't really pop like that all days. I mean, Classic was fun, right? But on EU, Gameforge just fucked it up on day one, so, you know. It wasn't alive for very long, unfortunately. I did play on both Classic NA and Classic EU, though, and I had fun. Both NA and EU Classic dead. More dead than a retail version. Okay, NA maybe. On EU... I mean, to be fair, like, every version of the game is just dead on EU. But... Is EU Classic really more dead than retail? Is it? I think Classic is probably, like, a bit more alive, right? I haven't checked in a while, to be honest. Like, the last time I checked was... I want to say... early 4.x? Like late 3.x, actually, for EU. Like, NA I checked 4.x, but not EU. But I think there's still, like, a community on EU playing Classic, though. Like, from what I've seen. Maybe I should check it out, chat. What do you think? Surely. Why not? I can think of a couple of reasons why not. In the past. I mean, it's more so that honestly Classic just kind of turned out like... It kind of turned into... a not great game. A lot of bloat. You know, the classic NC bloat. They just can't fucking stop themselves, you know? And they're doing it again online too, so, you know. Like, the floor is lava, right? Like, the floor is keeping the game... like, simple enough to be accessible to anyone. And not bloating it with 50 million different systems. What to do after Global comes out? I can't play any version, all my friends are playing Japan server, doesn't make sense, I'm already playing Taiwan. Taiwan's probably gonna take a huge hit when Global comes out. I don't think Taiwan is gonna take in terms of like the player base, I don't think Taiwan's gonna get like much of a hit. Simply because of the fact that the majority of the players playing on Taiwan are Chinese. And I don't think these guys are not going anywhere. Like, unless they announce a specific Chinese version, right? Which they haven't so far, and even then, right? The Chinese population is not going anywhere. Take a bit Classic EU if you want to see how it goes nowadays. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing, Ronix, right? I would like to, you know, play more variety until Global comes out. But basically, I'm kind of stuck in this cycle right now where I'm still keeping up with my character to be able to do the latest content when it comes out. And when I'm not doing this, I'm making YouTube videos. And when I'm not doing this, I'm making like stuff like assets for the stream and stuff, right? I don't really have disposable time, realistically. It's like the moment I start doing that, I'm going to fall behind on Taiwan. Which I could afford to do so if I was swiping, right? Like, if I swiped, I could afford to not run my dungeons, right? And just like play something else. But I'm not really at that point right now. As you can see, even right now, Taiwan servers population is going down rapidly. I mean, is it? Is it really? Like the census website that keeps up with people who are like keeping up with endgame, like the population doesn't seem to be dropping all that much, right? Like, you still have servers with like 10k plus active. And I'm talking about like just servers. What to play before global? I mean, there's options. If you mean MMO wise, what's your take on Guild Wars 3? Their plan for Guild Wars 2 to keep it relevant? I mean, it's not impossible. Like, many companies have 2 MMOs running, right? Like, Guild Wars 2 is probably gonna get like less updates, yes, but then again, Guild Wars 2 is not a very expensive game for them to make like new assets and stuff because it's old, right? So they're still gonna be able to pump content, and especially when Guild Wars 3 is going to be fresh, they're going to keep up with Guild Wars 2 because, you know, it's their safety net essentially. They can also do the intelligent thing, right? Like, if I'm them, right? The advantage of having 2 concurrent MMOs that are relevant on the market at the same time is you can build an ecosystem, right? Think what Blizzard is doing with WoW, with like all of the different versions of WoW, right? So both games should offer like different stuff, right? And both games should have content drop that coincide with the other game's content drop. And if they do that, they can keep both alive. And they can just like keep players within the ecosystem. Already said they're pumping huge content in September. Yeah. Like, if I'm ArenaNet, what I do with Guild Wars 3 is I would make Guild Wars 3 a more of a theme park MMO, right? Like, more focused on PvE specifically, more focused on raids, etc. This way, you have your theme park MMO that has big content releases where people, you know, they play the game when there's the fresh content release, and then during the content lull, they can go back to Guild Wars 2 for the more like horizontal content, right? Like, that's what I'm expecting them to do. But I guess we'll see. I do think all of the PvP elements are probably... I don't think they're gonna keep them in Guild Wars 3. Because it's just not a popular thing to do nowadays. And yeah, in relation to like what they're doing with the content release in comparison with AION 2, like every MMO is pumping out content like close to the release of AION 2 and Global, so at the end of the day, it's more so a matter of like, you know, it's gonna be a matter of management for NCSoft. Like, they need to hit it out of the park, out the gate. Otherwise, they're immediately gonna lose people, because as you said, there's gonna be a Guild Wars 2 content drop on one side. On the other side, you're gonna have the Final Fantasy 14 expansion, right? So yeah, hopefully they don't fumble out the gate. I think how TL flipped halfway through, yeah. I mean, there's a reason, right? And even AION 2 is very much more of a PvE MMO than it is PvP. The problem with PvP is that there's a huge stigma against PvP. With like being griefing centric and so on and so forth. People don't really want to, you know, deal with the sweat lords and everything. I see them using Guild Wars 2 achievement to unlock cosmetic stuff in Guild Wars 3. Yeah, they could, 100%. Like, the thing is, when you have two concurrent MMOs running like this, the correct way to go about it is to build an ecosystem around it. Basically exactly what Square Enix hasn't done with Final Fantasy 11 and 14, right? But Square Enix is a bunch of dumbasses, so there's not much of a surprise with that. But I think ArenaNet can pull it off, because I think ArenaNet has... They have the vision for that. Must register, you mean for the global release? I mean, yeah, you can pre-register, you know, to get the free mounts and everything. Same as Korea and Taiwan, but I mean, you can also wishlist on Steam, right? Open for Steam as well. I haven't checked if there's anything like that. I don't think you have to. I think it's just you can just wishlist. Like for Steam, I think it's just a wishlisting thing, right? But considering it's 4 months away, I haven't really had a proper look at it, I'm gonna be honest. Does Steam automatically register your device? I have no idea.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
Like, if I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked at all at anything about global the moment they said September. Like, the moment they said September, I was like, alright, 4 more months of fucking Taiwan. I'll check back in 3 months, you know? Ion 2 will add some PvP content, especially with the new big expansion coming. Yeah, we'll see. Would be nice to get, like, Dredgen back and have Arena not being a steaming pile of dog shit. And to have, like, some proper PvP balance, but I'm not expecting anything spectacular. We'll see with Season 4. Gonna play on 2 on Steam. I'm scared because I haven't used it much like Purple. Steam is better. I mean, Steam is the better platform. Like, the main reason why you would use Purple is if you want to sell your account afterwards. Because with Steam, it's harder to sell your account, right? With Purple, it's gonna be really easy. It's just, you know, username, password. Was Glad Existence even Raiden can hold aggro? This guy can't. Well, it is what it is. Does he use Life-Stealing Blade at least? I didn't pay attention. Surely he does, right? Give me 1 second. Why is this like this? See. Damn. I quit AION 2 Taiwan January when the flag PvP was a thing in Rift and Dead. How's the state of PvP now? It hasn't changed too much in terms of the actual content. The balance has evolved a bit, the TTK is longer, yada yada yada. But the PvP is bad. Like, that's really the only thing you need to know right now. Like, the PvP is not worth doing. Because the content in itself is fairly uninteresting, the balance is really wacky, and all of the reward structures are basically gone. Like, they removed the seasonal rewards and everything because, you know, people were win trading and everything, so they basically said no more season rewards. Now everything is just like cosmetic titles. So there's no reason to upkeep rank outside of like buying medals, which is kind of whatever. Like, Arena's dead because of that as well, because again there's no ranking, so there's nothing to go for, right? How many red stones have you used for the Sanct 3 and this new Transcendence? I mean, Transcendence, I'm not using stones on it. Sanctuary 3, I used like 100 stones during Prague. But the only reason why I use stones is because they are fucking stupid with the resurrection system and Cleric has to use stones. Like, basically, like the rest of my group used 0 stones. And I used 100 because XD Cleric. That's a lot. I mean, over the course of 1 week of, you know, of Prague, it is what it is. It's like every single time you die, you have to use a stone as a Cleric. You have no other option. It's just really fucking stupid. Either I full send Iron 2 or Guild Wars 2 for 3, honestly. I'm really configured to see flashy Iron 2 PvP and it looks good. Iron 2's PvP is not good. Like, do not get it twisted. It's not good. There's virtually 0 thought going into, like, fighting other people. The balancing is hot dog shit, and the content in itself is non-existent. Rifting is dead. Battlegrounds, you do 20 minutes a week. Arena is dead. The only thing you have is Abyss roaming. And then the reason why you roam is to get ranking points, to get nothing. So PvP is not worth your time in this game. At least as of right now, PvP is not worth your time. You know, maybe in Season 4 they turn it around with the new maps, with the new level cap and everything. Maybe it's gonna be better. But as of right this instant, like, Iron 2's PvP is not worth your time. Would be nice if we could buy stones off of the merchant like in Iron 1. It would be nice if there was no stones. How about that? How about just having a life system in PV instead of having this shit? A transformed guy from the other faction camping our only corridor. This is the PvP of this game. Yeah, pretty much. Like, the camping is one thing, right? But it's the only thing that exists, and the fights in themselves are not very interesting. Like, even if you play one of the like 3, maybe 4 classes that can do PvP, right? You're just holding down a button 99% of the time and just spamming skills because, like, there's too much CDR, there's too much like cooldown reset and everything. You don't have to be mindful of anything. If you try to hold your remove shock, it actually just punishes you because of life leeching. Like, yeah, no, it's the PvP in this game is hot garbage right now. And like if you know me, I'm a PvP guy, right? I will do PvP. If your game has PvP, I will do PvP. I haven't done PvP in this game for the last like 3 months. So if you get me to just give up entirely on PvP in this game, it's probably because it's completely dog shit. But again, you know, maybe Season 4 will turn it around. Maybe. In Korea, people are saying NC might be having people use a lot of restaurants. Have to buy with a kuna, which is more money for them. I mean, the thing is, the only class that would ever have to buy stones from the shop would be Cleric. In like a very specific set of circumstances of like progging Sanctuary and absolutely having to use stones, right? And God knows nobody's fucking doing that. So NCSoft is not getting any money out of like Resurrection Stone stuff. They're not making any money out of it. They're just fucking stupid and stubborn about the system is all. Like, any sensible developers would have given up on the Resurrection Stone stuff. But then again, any sensible developer would have given up on the Odil energy system as well, so... You know, what can you do? Can Cleric use self-res on themselves? Cleric doesn't have a self-res. They gave like Cleric a self-res for 1 week and then they took it away. I don't play Cleric, I thought I have a self-res. Nope. Basically what happened is when they added a new batch of stigmas, they gave Cleric a self-res. it was implemented so fucking poorly and it was completely fucking unusable that they removed it from the game 2 days later. And then they added the self-resurrection as just a default part of your passive, which was nice, right? And then they took it away a week later. I mean, fact of the matter is they have no fucking idea what they're doing with Cleric. Bottom line, right? Like, whoever is in charge of, like, you know, designing the game's balance and Cleric in general is, like, probably just clinically brain dead in NCSoft. It is what it is, right? A friend showed me today and explained some ton of bugs playing TL. Unbelievable. I've had made many. Oh yeah, Throne is a disaster. Throne is an absolute fucking Swiss cheese of bugs and exploits. Cleric should have a self-res. Yeah, no shit. Even the resurrection skill makes no sense, because the resurrection skill has a 2-minute cooldown, while self-res tones have a 15-second cooldown. This doesn't make any sense. It's just shit design. It's just fucking shit design, right? And for some reason they are being very fucking stubborn about it. I mean, probably because the Koreans are not complaining about it, right? Because Korean players have like actual fucking soup in their brain for the most part, so when they complain about something, it's irrelevant stuff. But what can you do? Maybe when the game gets in the West and they have like a different view on it, maybe actual good changes will be made, but as of right now, yeah, nah. We're just stuck with this. Korean people could not find many bugs in 1 year, the EU community in 1 day. Yeah, that's usually how it is. Because the Koreans are very, like, stuck with their meta. It was the same in AION 1, by the way. Like, the Korean AION 1 players were absolute fucking abysmal dog shit. Like, zero tech skill, nothing. Like, the pinnacle of tech in AION 1 for the Korean players was jump shotting. Yeah. What I heard, the core system doesn't support PvP in all the classes, nothing, so I don't know. That won't change anything. Oh, I mean, the PvP in this game could be great. It's just that, like, whoever is getting paid at NCSoft to take care of PvP balance has, like, I don't know, man. I don't even know how you come to the conclusion that he is. Like, it genuinely, it's just been, it has been a complete mystery to me. Like, they made a decent amount of decent changes at the beginning, but then again, a lot of the changes they did were just stuff that should have never come in the state they were at. And then they just kind of lost the plot. And it's been like a catastrophe for a few months. And they just kind of stopped updating PvP after that. Open's good in the West, even Iron War was good, I always self-destruct, yeah. I mean, it's NCSoft, right? At the end of the day, we'll see. Like, they've shown us that this game has a lot of potential, right? Like, the game has a lot of good, it also has a lot of bad. And it's gonna be, you know, again, matter of management. Just a matter of management. If they don't simplify the game, they don't manage classes when not surviving the West. Simplify the game and they don't manage classes. I mean, in terms of the game in itself, like, it's mostly, a lot of the systems have a lot of bloat, right? So they just need to streamline some of the systems. Like, there's a lot of, like, layers to the system that functionally do nothing other than just, like, you know, add bloat, right? Like again, the 50 different like ticketing and energy systems for dungeon is something that has to go, for example. Like class balance in PvE, it's alright, although life leeching in the state it is a fucking, I don't know. I don't know how anyone looks at like the state of life leech and is like, yeah, that's an okay thing to have in a Trinity game. Yeah, that's fine. Ship it. Removing mobile is already a bad sign if it can compete in the West. What do you mean removing mobile is a bad sign? Sometimes I feel like NC does this thing without thinking they can hire people who actually play the game. I have no idea. I mean, for the most part with this game, they seem to be listening to player feedback, right? But the problem is that the average Korean player is like dumb as a rock, so it doesn't really help much. I had 8 people that also spent immediately removing control game just not being able at the mobile. Okay. Mobile removal is a good thing. Like, this game should never have been available on mobile to begin with. Never. Like, having a mobile client, like, why not? But removing mobile is never going to be a bad thing. We are 2027. No mobile equals fast dying game. Okay. I'm just gonna stop reading you. It's a good sign, yeah. Do you think it will handle the bot issue well when it comes to global? I mean, that's part of what I said in regards to management, right? It's all gonna be a matter of management, and, you know, managing bot and RMT is part of that. When I heard for the first time I was coming to mobile, I was disappointed. I think everyone was, well, yeah. I mean, now, then again, they have shown that they're not really, like, working too hard for the game to be playable on mobile, but it's pretty obvious that it is holding the game back to some extent. Now the problem is, considering they are not going to drop mobile for the Asian market, it's not really going to change much on that front. But, you know, there's always the hope that the game will be better optimized in the West, considering it will not have a mobile client. Because, like, considering the way that Unreal Engine works, it's pretty obvious that stuff like the rendering distance and targeting distance is probably the way it is to be, like, you know, as an equalizer for mobile, right? So maybe they can, you know, tweak that for the West, considering we won't have mobile. You're losing a big player base with no mobile. Wait. It's an MMORPG. It's not supposed to be on mobile. End of the discussion. Crafted weapon and guard spent noble, but I quit for global. Just gonna wait now. Well. Imagine managing to actually do your craft. Isn't... Okay, well. A bird just rammed into my window. That's fun. But imagine actually succeeding in doing your craft, dude. I could never. The thing with mobile in this game is that the game is fucking unplayable on mobile, dude. Like, it doesn't add anything other than, like, a bad fucking reputation. And it just limits, like, needlessly limits the game, right? I'm just gonna ban you now. There you go. Just go rage bait somewhere else. If it was for mobile, there was a... Yeah, I mean, you know. Did you craft noble? I thought you said you never would. Yeah, I attempted to craft my mace and the craft failed. Imagine doing ultimates on mobile. I mean, imagine playing an MMO on mobile, dude. Like, mobile was never a good idea for this game. Were you level 70? Yeah. And the game didn't really like give me much of a, you know, of a respite. The bar just went full orange. Like from out the gate, it was obvious it was gonna fail. Like not much of a suspense. Like 60% from the start? Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty bad. Look at Robstino in his tiny, like, fucking flowered corner, dude. Pull the plug to DC now. I mean, there's no point in getting upset over it. It is the nature of the game, right? First person I heard just fell without blue bar going up. I mean, there was a little bit of blue, right? Like just a teensy tiny bit. But you know, it was pretty obvious. Like the game didn't really like give me a second thought on that one. It really didn't. Still hard to craft. I think it's like 20% chance to fail at level 70. Another great piece of design from NCSoft, by the way. Like excellent design. What game are we talking about? AION 2? At Rostov. Getting connection before failing? Nah, that doesn't work. Actually, if you do that, you just lose the mats. You lose the mats and there's no crafting result, so it's the same as failing. If you just like terminate. Because the ingredients get consumed the moment you press the button. But the crafting result only pops in your inventory after the fact. Battle for AION announcing Guild Wars yesterday. I mean, Guild Wars is not going to be out for another 2 years. Like, it's going to be inconsequential for AION 2. Now, that being said, it means we're going to have like a year and a half of global AION, and then if the game is less than spectacular, then we'll have another option. But both games are not going to conflict on release. We also still don't know what Guild Wars 3 is going to, you know, provide as a gameplay experience. We don't know if it's going to be PvP, we don't know if it's going to be PvE. The only thing we have is a cinematic trailer, so basically there's no game yet. I am looking forward to it. But it's not a game yet that exists. Many people will quit on global after failing to craft. I mean, surely by the time the game reaches global in 4 months, they will have gotten rid of all of this dog shit, right? Same with the soulbind system, same with the arcana gambling. Surely all of that is just gonna be gone. Like, this is the type of system that is like in Korea and doesn't make it to global. If it does make it to global, then NCSoft is actually fucking stupid. But I guess we'll see. Spellcraft, the game is literally to go fuck yourself. Yeah, pretty much. It's very anticlimactic too. The way it happens. They don't even throw you a bone, dude. Like, they don't even, like, give you back, like, a portion of the mats or anything. Oh my god, dude. Yes, I love pressing forward and dodging backwards. My favorite thing. I mean, they're gonna be fine without me.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
Surely you guys can manage 3% without me, right? Bro, why are 2 people dead?
Look! Rob's here with me!
This one for 3%, huh? Energy system that has because yeah. Any news on the new expansion? Just normal vertical progression from Algar to Mohem. Oh, I got a skin. Look at that. We don't know anything about the expansion right now. You know, other than the stuff, the basic stuff with the new maps and the level cap increase. We're gonna get more news about the expansion on the 14th, 15th. Basically in a week. Well, more than that. Like 10 days. Well, less than that. A week and a half. Not quite. I have on 100k DPS guy insta leaves. I mean, yeah. How much is that even worth anymore? Actually. I mean, it's 3 mil. I'll take that. Yeah, sure. Actually, I mean, it is a skin though. Could go for the weapon gun though. I don't know. Not ruin it when it comes out, but my brain keeps telling me that it might ruin it. Look, at the end of the day, it is NC Soft. Who fucking knows? They have a solid game on their hand, right? It has a lot of potential. Maybe they'll fuck it up, maybe they won't. We have no idea right now. We're probably gonna know more, like, during the course of this month. I got a weapon skin from that. It's a 3 mil anyways. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe I just use it. And just grab the weapon. I mean, either way, I'm gonna be around, right? I'm gonna be around, I'm gonna be doing my thing, I'll be making my little guides. And if they fuck up, then I'll move on to something else. And honestly, that's the way you should be looking at it too. Like, you're not married to an MMO. If you stop having fun, you just move on to the next one, right? Not that deep. I would never understand why people get emotional over pieces of software. I mean, it's understandable because, like, MMOs are games where you invest, like, very large sums of time, right? Like, it's understandable why people can feel betrayed and stuff by a game, right? By an MMO like this, right? A lot of people also get, like, sunk cost fallacy. Like, when they spend a lot of time in a game, they feel like they have to stay. Because they invested a lot of time already into it. And that's also why people get defensives of other MMOs, right? Do you think they will nerf Sanctuary 3? No. They don't have to nerf Sanctuary 3. Sanctuary 3 is the best thing that has happened to this game in the last 3 months. And if they nerf it, the game is fucking donezo. Because if the PvP is dog shit, the only thing they have left is making decent PvE, right? And Cleric has been the first good fight this game has had. So if they go back on it, then why play this game, right? Time is precious. Yeah. No, invest in the game. You have fun with playing with the game. Yeah, but you know, different people see things differently. I think it's fair for people to get, like, you know, upset when like a live service game they play is turning to shit and stuff like that. I think it's fair because at the end of the day it's kind of like a betrayal over something you spend a lot of time to. But as I said, the reasonable thing to do is to just move on to another game when you stop having fun. Have you beaten Sanctuary 3? We haven't beaten it because basically we did a couple of days of progs and then people had to go do something else, so we don't have the people to go back for like a week. But I mean, we essentially need like 2 more hours to be done with it. Like, if we had 1 more day of prog, we would have cleared it. But you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it wasn't a hardcore group, so whatever. We spent more time than we should have on this fight because some people were struggling with certain mechanics. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Damn. Unfortunate placement. I do wish I could go back into Cleric, but what can you do? We don't have the people, so we gotta wait for them to be back. Oh, this group's pretty fast. the Templar is a stark improvement over the previous Gladiator, I'll say that. And this guy's 5.3. God damn. 650. Intelligence. Interesting. Okay, DPS Glad is bad, no wonder. Yeah. This group actually might be the fastest we've ever had. That is a dome placement and a half. I mean, whatever, as long as we have 3, right? Are you going to join a Legion in Global or create one? I don't know, and I don't really care, because like Legions don't really have any, you know, usage in this game. I'm probably just gonna be like in a Legion with like static members, and that's about it. Like Legions are glorified friends lists in this game right now anyways. I straight up went through that blue heart and then didn't get paralyzed. I guess that's fine. Didn't see that.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
The template only came for one. We're probably close to dawn with Transcendence, right? How many more? Literally one more. Well, that's crazy. What was the box? The box situation. Ooh, SM? Okay. What else it was? The French accent? No. No. Do dungeon after? I don't think I'm gonna be streaming for very long today, so I don't know. Like if I'm gonna be honest, like I'm kind of tugging at my will to play this week. Like I'm really burnt out right now. Like I'm really burnt out. Damn, actually killed me. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna finish the Transcendence and then that's gonna be it for now. Yeah. You know, just do my due diligence. That's already decent. Why bother with dungeons anyways? I could literally swipe $5 and essentially get the equivalent of all of my dungeons for the week. Right? Right. Do variety streams. Yeah, I don't know. We're brawling summer game fest yesterday. Was fun though. Yeah. I don't know, I'll think about it. I do think something needs to happen with this stream though, in general. Because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go the distance for 4 months while waiting for global. Like, I'm really burnt out on the Taiwanese server. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I really dislike playing on it right now. I really do. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to find some sort of middle ground. Like, would suck ass to just drop the game before it even comes out. You know what I mean? Then don't do it. I have to be around. Fell asleep eventually. Yeah, I think most people did. I mean, that show was, you know, it was something. I'll say that. It certainly was something. Are you on ultra wide setting? Yeah. I mean, this is not like the biggest of ultra wides, you know? It's just a wide. Did we pull these? Okay, we did. Good. Actually, you know what? I have an idea. We're gonna do something fun after this Transcendent chat. Look forward to it. You need a holiday. Yeah. I do think I need some variety, so maybe I'll do something different. The thing is, right, with doing variety is, I know for a fact that if I do variety in this stream, I'm gonna launch the stream to 5 viewers. And I'm gonna lose regulars. And the YouTube channel is gonna be stagnant, etc, etc. I don't want that, right? So that's kind of the conflict right now. Oh boy. Why me? I guess I am the closest. Yeah, there's only range. Actually, that makes sense.
Esteemed pests,
But we're gonna do something fun after this this Transcendence. Look forward to it. Be the French most critical. Ah, yes. You have any other like great ideas, Sakura? Get all of them out right now, you know? But I mean, obviously a huge part of it is the fact that I'm not enjoying Cleric at all. Like that does play a big role. Like the fact that Cleric is so fucking bad. Like such an unenjoyable class to play. It really doesn't help. Obviously. I mean, you know, it's a mix of everything. Like the Taiwan servers are a bit complicated to play on. Cleric is very unfun. The ping sucks. You know? the fact that Global is coming out about 6 months later than I initially thought. You know, it's a package. This dome formation has been weird. At least it's consistent, but it's weird.
Making sacrifices is so noble, you know?
A good stagger.
Perhaps you agree.
3 months fast. Yeah, no, there's no such thing as 3 fast months. I mean, it's more like 4 months, isn't it? Like, let's assume here that they do go with the AION 1 original release date, right? Which was on the 23rd. It's more like 4 months. Obviously, it could be early September. I think it's gonna be mid to late September, though. Like, if they go with a September release, it's probably gonna be mid to late, right? What the fuck, 3 monsters disappear? I don't know about this one, dude. Like, I think the heat wave that's about to hit my ass is going to make me, it's going to make the 4 months feel very long, actually. Reminder that I'm a peasant with no AC, you know? Alright. Well, that is done and done. Alright, let me check one thing, chat. Let me check one thing. Let's see if there's already one around, or if we have to make our own. Yeah, sure. Just relinquish all of my data to my Chinese overlord. Alright, there you go. Yeah, that works. Ah, yes. 50 ads on the page, just like God intended. Alright, there we go. Alright, are you ready, chat? It's time for some real fucking content. How about that? How about them apples? Alright, so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. People... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just so it takes more of the screen. Yeah, okay. So, people keep coming into the stream, asking me what do I think about this class, what do I think about this class, is this class good, is this class bad? We're gonna make a fucking tier list. So, we are basically 3 weeks away from Season 4, right? I don't think there's gonna be any other big sweeping class changes in the game until Season 4. So, this is going to be my official, unbiased, entirely factual class tier list for AION 2 for the level 45, right? So there's a chance that this balance is going to be the one that we get on Global. Because we know now that Global is going to get Season 1, right? So it's going to be level 45, right? And it's going to be Season 1. And considering Season 4 is going to be level 50, then it's probable that they're going to just snapshot the current balance. Maybe, you know, bar a few QL stuff maybe, but, you know, who knows. Anyways, so how is this tier list going to work? The way I'm going to rank every class, I'm going to take into account absolutely every single aspect of the game. Solo PvE, group PvE, solo PvP, group PvP, right? So obviously, depending on exactly what type of content you're gonna look at, maybe some stuff is gonna skew more one way or another. But this is what I'm going with. Like, look at this tier list more like a, you know, general usage, you know, like comfiness, like is this class something that's good, that is going to serve you well, like day in, day out, regardless of what you do, right? So I guess the question is right now, what class do we start with? You know what, actually, I know exactly what class I want to end with. So let's I guess we'll start with like, yeah, I mean, Assassin is fine. So Assassin is an S. These are going to be ranked properly, by the way, even within the tier, like rest assured. So Assassin as a class is S tier. Assassin is the highest burst class in PvE, right? Even on long fights, Assassin is really solid. It used to be the absolute uncontested, like, best PvE DPS. But other classes have caught up a bit on like long fights. But for short fight, Assassin is still a king. But that is for group PvP. For group PvE. For solo PvE, Assassin is not the best farming class, but it is a solid farming class, right? It has a self-resetting gap close with the fast animation. It's like Assassin is a comfy class to farm with, right? So overall, across the board, Assassin is just a class that excels at just about everything. I would say the weakest thing of Assassin right now is probably farming, but it's still pretty decent. Now, when it comes to PvP, Assassin used to be... Assassin went through a couple of rough patches, right? Like at the very beginning it was decent, and then it fell off pretty hard, and then it started climbing up, and then it was at the absolute peak. And right now, it's not quite the best PvP class. It's pretty fucking solid. It's pretty fucking solid, right? Like, I would say it's probably the third best 1v1 class. You could argue for second. I would say third, personally. And obviously, for, like, large-scale PvP, stuff like Siege, Assassin is not the best. But the thing with Siege PvP is you can't really look at the PvP side of Siege all that much, because 99% of sieging is just nuking a boss. And for that, Assassin is S tier, because Assassin has insane burst damage. So to get medals in Siege, Assassin is great, right? So overall, even though you measure all of the pros and cons, Assassin is just S, right? So that is Assassin. Now let's look at the counterpart, Ranger. And I'm going to do something maybe a bit controversial, but I'm going to put Ranger here, above Assassin. Now Assassin is another class that, Ranger is another class that went through like a variety of, you know, a wide variety of state across the history of the game. But as of right now, Ranger is just kind of the best at everything. Like, for solo ground, like, you know, grinding PvE, just farming mobs, Ranger is the uncontested king. There's no better classes to farm mobs. Like, Ranger is it. For group PvE, Ranger is not the best DPS, but it's very far from being the worst. Like, it's very competitive, I would say. Ranger does very respectable damage, while also having the range and the mobility, right? And then on the PvP side of things, Ranger has zero downside. Ranger is straight up the best PvP class in the game. Because the 1v1 PvP, Ranger is able to run defensive with evasion and HP, while not giving much of a shit about evasion and block, because Ranger has a lot of its burst that ignores block and evasion, on top of having insane CDR and CDR procs on its skills, right? It also has a fucking incoming heal reduction on the block and evasion ignore, which is insane, right? So Ranger, when buffed, is actually able to very competently nuke block and evasion targets without running accuracy, right? And then if you do decide to run accuracy on Ranger, Ranger does insane single target burst damage in PvP. And then on top of that, any blanks that Ranger may have in PvP, Like, obviously, Ranger doesn't have insane, like, you know, stuns and stuff like that, just like a Gladiator or an Assassin. But Ranger has knockback, which is arguably even more broken than stun locking people, because Ranger has forced knockback on a lot of its skills that it can spam, and it also has a knockback passive for classes, for melee classes. So basically, if you are like, I think it's 7 meters, right? If you are within 7 meters of the Ranger, not only do you get knocked back by the knockback skills, you also get passively knocked back by everything, by every other skill by the passive. So if you're trying to get in onto Ranger, you have to deal with the evasion, you have to deal with the mobility, you have to deal with the gap closer. Oh yeah, by the way, Ranger is a ranged class with a gap closer and a back jump. It has insane mobility, right? But obviously you're also going to have to deal with the knockbacks, which will cancel your skills, break your animations, put you into cooldown, right? Like, Ranger is fucking impossible to fight in a 1v1 for basically the entire cast. Ranger is the only class that can reliably 1v1 the other classes in S rank and win, right? Ranger is insane. Now, the only downside to Ranger is that it's the kind of class where you need to min-max for it to be remotely decent. Like, a mid-Ranger is going to be pretty shit. But in terms of like how far you can put Ranger, like when you're talking about, you know, not necessarily max gear, but like end game gear Ranger, like Ranger just blows every other class out of the water in terms of like how insanely convenient it is. Oh yeah, and also, by the way, going back on Assassin a bit, Assassin also has insane self-sustain with its life leech, and so does Ranger. So yeah, that confidently puts Ranger at the top of the game, in my opinion. To me, Ranger is at the top of the game. Now let's look at the third S class, in my opinion, which I'm going to put here, which is Gladiator. So again, Gladiator had a bit of a bumpy road. It was completely broken at the beginning of the game, and then it became kind of mid to shit at the end of Season 1, and then it rose back when they added the overhead slam window, like midway through Season 2, and it kept rising up. And as of right now, Gladiator used to be the best class in the game, but it recently got surpassed by Ranger because of an insane balance patch, right? So, the solo PvE, Gladiator is very good. It has good AoE, just like Assassin. It has a gap closer that self-resets. It's pretty good to farm, right? Like, again, like Gladiator is arguably a bit better than Assassin when it comes to farming packs of mobs, right? And for group PvE, Gladiator is counted as a tank, so as a support class, which means it's one of the only classes that didn't lose its group utility, which is, you know, very good. And it's able to tank, albeit not as well as a Templar, but it's able to tank. It dishes out, honestly, very good damage for what is supposed to be a support. But the buffs that it gives to the rest of the fucking group is insane. Like, Life-Stealing Blade, in terms of the amount of damage you add to your group, almost doubles your DPS as a Gladiator, which, when you account for all DPS, the Gladiator basically has the same DPS as like a Ranger in the group, which is insane, right? Because Gladiator also has insane health, it's pretty tanky, it has good self-sustain, right? So yeah, and obviously Gladiator is also like kind of the king of life leeching, because Life-Stealing Blade, both in PvE and PvP, when it's active, you hit a target like 3 times and you're back to full health. It doesn't matter what the target is, because the life leech is like basically it's fixed, right? So yeah, Gladiator is absolutely nuts. So now again, Gladiator has the same downside to Assassin in the sense that in large scale PvP it's not as good because it's a melee. But that being said, Gladiator is a very tanky class. So if you're PvPing with a group, you're actually able to soak hits as a Gladiator fairly well for like a long period of time. And Gladiator also has the option to play both block and accuracy, although in my opinion, like, to me, block Gladiator goes here, accuracy Gladiator goes here. Like, the correct way to play Gladiator is accuracy damage boost. Because, like, an accuracy Gladiator is unstoppable, is an unstoppable force, right? Like, accuracy Gladiator can potentially beat both of these classes. The only thing group needs to stagger the boss is Gladiator buff. Yeah, that too. Like, Zikels, the thing with Zikels is it gives attack and stagger to the rest of the group, but the attack is arguably not as useful to most classes because of the attack percent cap, but the stagger actually is quite helpful, which is very underestimated. On fights where you're actually able to keep damaging the stagger bar of the boss, Zikels is actually pretty good. Yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, going back on Ranger real quick, obviously, Ranger doesn't have the downside of large-scale PvP, which, you know, bumps it up a notch a bit. Like, Ranger just has no downside. You know what I mean? Which is why it's what it is, right? So now we're going to move over to the A rank classes. We're done with S. These are your top in this order, right? Now let's move down to A. So this is going to be a bit more controversial. I'm going to put Spirit Master in A. Now, SM had a very, very, very troubled past because SM notoriously struggled with bad pet AI, really slow speed, really middling DPS. It used to be mostly a group buffer by debuffing the bosses and everything. Sin is S tier, yes. Sin Assassin barely makes S tier right now to me, but it's still the bottom of S tier to me, yes. But yeah. For SM, so yeah, SM had a troubled past. It kind of was shit for like the first half of the game, and it just kept getting buffed over and over and over and over and over. And in its current state, SM is in a really good position because SM essentially has the same long-term DPS potential as Assassin, right? It doesn't have as high of a burst damage, which means that on short fights, SM is going to lose to Assassin. But if the fight is long enough, like I think the breakpoint is like 3 minutes or something. If the fight is long enough, then SM is like about on the same level as Assassin, right? So that's for group PvE. Also for group PvE, SM is like pretty sturdy. It has decent self-sustain. You know, it's not a very frail class, right? It's not, you know, it doesn't have as insane self-sustain as the classes in S, but it's fairly decent. For solo farming, SM is pretty decent. It's a range class, right? So it has the advantage of range. It's not incredibly speedy like a ranger, but it's a decent farming class, right? I wouldn't say it's the best though. I definitely wouldn't say it's the best. When it comes to PvP, for solo PvP, SM is on paper, it's shit. But in practice, it has some tricks up its sleeve that allows it to actually upset some of the S rank classes. Like, SM can win against Assassin, Gladiator. Ranger, I guess, is a bit more debatable. But namely because SM has taunt locking, which, if you don't know, basically what SM is able to do is it's able to cycle through its pets, and every time it summons a pet, the pet does its special attack, right? Now, for most pets, it doesn't matter. But for the Earth's pet, it has a taunt, right? And the way taunt works in this game is that if you taunt your target, the taunted target is forced to auto-attack the target that taunted them, right? So it essentially functions kind of like an AION fear. But like as an SM, if you have enough CDR, you're basically able to taunt lock people if you cycle properly, right? And the taunt locking got nerfed a little bit, so every now and again you get like 1 second of playtime. But essentially, if you get jumped by an SM and they're allowed to cook, as long as the SM doesn't fuck up or doesn't get resisted, which in most cases SM doesn't get resisted because SM has a really good buff with Kaisenal, as well as having multiple status effect chance buffs, so a properly built SM will get you into a taunt lock. So on paper, SM can win a 1v1 against every class. The main downside of SM is that it takes a bit to get going in PvP. It needs time to cook. If an SM gets jumped, it kind of doesn't really get a second chance and it just kind of dies, right? So for this reason, it's not quite S, but it's definitely at the top of A. Yeah. And then for obviously for group PvP, SM is pretty decent again, because like when it comes to group PvP, you will have people covering your back, right? So you're always going to be able to cook properly. So even if the SM gets jumped, because it's gonna have people that has its back, it's gonna be able to recover, put on proxy, like put on like properly buff up and start like cooking, right? So it's decent for group PvP, although it doesn't have like, I wouldn't say SM as like something that is specific to group PvP. It's good for taunt locking again, but I would argue that broadly speaking, you're probably better off having one of these classes in your group for PvP, right? Although Assassin is a bit debatable because it lost to group stealth, so maybe SM is a bit better than Assassin for group PvP. But yeah. Range my class for AION 2. Maybe I would top 1 PvE class anymore. Yeah, I mean, again, keep in mind, right? Like that balancing is like as of right now. So yeah, SM top of 8. Really fucking solid class. It's one of the only classes that can really contest the top 3 in 1v1 PvP. Solid for PvE. Not the best for solo farming, not the best for group PvP, but all around a really fucking solid class, right? Now we're going to go into the second A class, which is Templar. So Templar has always been kind of solid, and it's honestly kind of been a bit of a sleeper pick all throughout the game. It's been getting gradually better. It was really strong, and then after the TTK change, it actually like lost a bit in power because it got hit by the support PvP nerf, which is basically like all of the support classes when the TTK changes happened saw a drastic loss in PvP DPS, right? And Templar was hit by that. Now that being said, I do think most people that play Templar right now don't really play it properly. Like there's a lot of people who play Templar with block in PvP. I think that's a mistake. I don't think you need the block to survive. I think Templar should be played with full offense. And I think your only layers of defense for PvP should be endurance and HP. Because Templar has insane single target life leeching in PvP. So as long as you're able to hit your target, which typically speaking you will be able to because you are stun locking them as fuck, right? You're always going to be at full health. It doesn't matter if your HP drops to quarter health. If you get one stun off and the opponent is not able to get out of it, you're going to go back to full health, right? But yeah, let's get back to the beginning, right? So for PvE, for solo PvE, Templar is okay for solo farming. It's honestly on the weaker side. It has post self reset, which is neat, but which is not really effective for roaming, roam farming, as well as pack farming, right? It's still decent. It's probably one of the weaker classes when it comes to solo grinding, right? For group PvE, Templar is excellent. Templar is insanely underestimated for group PvE. It gives really good buffs to the group. It has a good damage boost buff. It has insane fucking mitigation for the group. Like, when you have a Templar in your group, the difference in the amount of damage you take is fucking nuts. Like, Templar is just that good in terms of defensive in PvE, right? And then when it comes to personal DPS, I think a lot of people get the wrong idea from Templar when it comes to personal DPS, because a lot of Templars either have high ping or don't build properly, but I genuinely, personally believe that when you account for RDPS, Templar is on the same level as Gladiator. It has the potential to be, right? And then the PvP, as I said, for solo PvP, the main struggle Templar has is the amount of damage it deals in 1v1, right? It has insane CC, insane mobility, insane tankiness. It struggles a bit with damage, right? How would you build it? Full damage. To me, Templar should be built entirely for damage. And going back on that, right? The solo PvP, I think if Templar's built more into full accuracy with damage boost and attack and crit, and ran only endurance and constitution as their only layer of defense for PvP, I think Templar would do a lot better in 1v1, right? Now, would Templar be able to rival against Ranger? Debatable, right? I don't know because I don't play it. But I do think people play it wrong right now. I do think it has really, really good potential. But overall, Templar is a really strong pick. What are the strongest solo arena PvP classes? The three at the top here. In this order. What passives? I mean the usual culprit, right? Like for PvE, it's going to be all of the damage passives. For PvP, you're going to be building your damage tolerance and endurance passive with your HP passive, right? But yeah. Templar is an A. So now Chanta, right? Chanta is in a very similar spot to Templar, in my opinion. In that it basically has the same strong points and the same weak points, except Chanta is just... It's just a class that you kind of feel like shit if you don't have it in your group in PvE. Like, that's the main difference. Like, I would say the solo PvE farming Chanta is about on the same level as, I would say, Gladiator. The solo grinding. A group PvE, like, if this was a group PvE tier list, Chanta would be here. If this was a group PvE tier list, Chanta would be here. But this is like an overall tier list, right? So Chanta is here. Like, honestly, if you ask me any day, I could interchange these. Actually, I might put Chanta here. Yeah. The main thing to me that drops Chanta here is solo PvP. Because I do think Chanta is a lot weaker than Templar in solo PvP. Because I do believe if you build Chanta offensively, you can kill targets fairly competently. You do have a couple of stuns, you have a bit of self-sustain, etc, etc. But you're nowhere near as tanky as a Templar. Your life leech is really weak, whereas Templar's life leech is fucking insane in 1v1. Chanta's is pretty weak, right? And the personal healing that you have just simply isn't as strong as life leech, as anyone's life leech for that matter. So that is honestly what drops Chanta like by a tier. Yeah. And then for group PvP, Chanta is just really fucking solid. Like, for the same reason it's really solid in group PvE. Like, Chanta's buffs are just insane. Like, the thing that is like bumping Chanta from B to A is just its party buffs. Like, Power of the Storm and Sprint Mantra are incredibly underestimated. Like, every time people look at Chanta, they look at Undefeated Mantra, right? Every time they do, they look at Undefeated Mantra. And don't get me wrong, Undefeated Mantra is the fucking GOAT, right? But Power of the Storm and Sprint Mantra are fucking difference makers, dude. They make the entire class, both in PvE and PvP, right? Like, in PvE, Power of the Storm almost doubles Assassin's DPS, right? And Sprint Mantra makes some mechanics go from a pain in the ass to deal with to a walk in the park, quite literally. Like, the amount of movement speed you get, and also like the little bit of extra self-sustain you get from Sprint Mantra is insane. And it drives me crazy every time I see a Chanta that doesn't run Sprint Mantra. Like, if you play Chanta right now, and Sprint Mantra isn't in your skill bar 24/7 at level 20, you are actively fucking griefing. I would love to see how this tier would look if they straight up remove Life Leech. I mean, see you again in Season 4, maybe. But yeah, that's Chanta, right? Now that's it for 8. Like, again, as I said, this is a bit interchangeable. The thing that bumps Templar by one tier is like solo PvP potential, in my opinion. But if you forget solo PvP potential, it would be like this, right? But yeah. Now let's look at B tier. Now, there's not going to be any C or D tier. Can I just delete these? Yeah. There's not going to be any C or D tier because, quite frankly, there is no bad class in AION 2. Like, there is no class that is completely unable to do content. There is no class that is not able to run its daily content. right? Like, every class is going to be able to play the game, have fun, go through the motions, clear content when it comes out, etc., etc. It's just that some classes are better than others, right? So, coming at the top of B tier is Cleric. So, Cleric, right? Cleric is in a really awkward position because it's not a dog shit class, right? It has an interesting kit. It's just that the game around Cleric doesn't really work in Cleric's favor as of right now. Like, let's go through the same motions as the other classes. So, the solo PvE grinding, Cleric is honestly pretty good. You have range, you have somewhat fasting skills, right? It's nowhere near a ranger, but I would say that Cleric is about it's almost on the same level as like an SM in terms of like solo grinding, right? It's pretty decent, pretty run of the mill, it's okay. The group PvE, that is where problems start to arise. So, the thing with PvE in AION 2 right now is, up until now, there hasn't really been any difficult PvE in the game. Both mechanically and in terms of how resources intensive it has been, right? So, the 99% of the PvE in AION 2, you straight up don't need to heal. And the reason why you don't need to heal is because potions are really strong, and essentially every class in the game, except for one, which we're gonna get to that in a second, has insane self-sustain because of life leeching, right? So every time you take damage from a mob, one of two things happen. Either you get one shot, in which case healing is not going to save you, or you don't get one shot, in which case you can just life leech or potion back to full without a cleric needing to heal you, right? And because there's like honestly there's honestly not much in the way of like fast hitting AoEs in the game where you would need to heal before people are able to life leech. And also the bosses are essentially always attackable to be able to life leech, right? What about the future 6-man adjustment with this tier list? Makes sense? This tier list is purely for the current state of the game, because I'm assuming there's not going to be any other sweeping changes to the balance until Season 4. After Season 4, we're going to revisit this tier list. But this is for right now, right? But yeah. So the problem with that is Cleric trades DPS as well as group utility for a lot of healing. Like, Cleric has an insane healing toolkit on paper. Cleric has an insane, like, defensive toolkit. But there's just no PvE in the game that requires it. Even the latest fight in the game, Cleric, which has been the hardest fight in this game to date, in which you could argue that healing actually helps, in the healing intensive fights, you're still able to hit the boss to life leech, and you can still get through the phase by just potting, as long as you don't get hit by everything. So the healing aspect of Cleric is in an awkward state because of all of the insane self-sustain every class has, right? And then on the flip side, Cleric currently has the lowest PvE DPS in the game. It does. Even when you account for RDPS, Cleric is currently the lowest DPS in the game. Now, it is less bad than it used to be because they have been buffing Cleric's personal DPS as of late. But Cleric is still at the bottom right now, right? And yeah, that's kind of the state of Cleric right now. In PvP, the 1v1 PvP, Cleric is the weakest class in the game right now. Because it just doesn't do damage. And in a meta where most classes are just able to life leech back in a couple of seconds by just hitting you, Cleric is the only class in the game that has no CC to keep people at bay to prevent them from life leeching. So essentially in a 1v1 fight, Cleric does very subpar damage, is pretty tanky, is able to self-sustain itself, but isn't able to stop other classes from just hitting it and like healing off the damage that it does. So right now in 1v1, Cleric is the weakest class in the game, right? In group PvP, which is the main thing that saves Cleric in this tier list, Cleric is actually really strong. Because, as I said, Cleric has the absolute best defensive healing kit for the group. And while it doesn't come to much utility in PvE, in group PvP it's actually really useful. Like a Cleric that balances out its cooldown well in group PvP is able to put in some fucking work. Also, PvP has scenarios where you have people that are taking damage and cannot life leech because they're getting stunned, right? And they're getting pinned, they're getting targeted by several people. And in this case scenario, Cleric is really the only class that can really sustain someone. Chanta has good defensive tools, it has good healing tools, and these tools are more than enough to keep people sustained in PvE, which is another reason why Chanta is better than Cleric. But in PvP, Chanta's healing kit falters in comparison to Cleric, right? So group PvP is the one thing that saves Cleric. Now the main problem is there's not much group PvP in the game. It's mainly just battlegrounds, and that's about it. If you do Abyss group roaming, that counts. But the thing with Abyss group roaming is that 99% of cases, the group dynamic is what kills people. It's not really a comp, right? So it's, you have more people than those people, then you're probably going to kill them, right? These people have more people than you. Even if you can sustain with the Cleric, you're probably going to die, right? So yeah, that's why Cleric is here. And finally, the worst class in the game, Sorcerer. Now, Sorcerer for solo PvE grinding is one of the worst class. It has range, but it's pretty slow. And it has a lot of casts. So basically Soak, honestly, is probably a bit worse than Cleric when it comes to monster grinding. It's better than Templar, but you know, I would say most classes are better than Soak at solo grinding. For group PvE, Soak is about on the same level as SM when it comes to DPS, which means that it doesn't have insanely strong burst damage, but the long-term DPS evens out and is about even with the top tier DPS, right? Like Soak has strong DPS in group PvE. The main problem with the group PvE and Soak is that Soak has really fucking shit self-sustain. It's a frail class with no life leech, functionally, with no self-regen, with barely any mitigation. When you have a Soak in your group, Soak is the class that when you do group PvE is the most likely to just hit the ground, right? And funnily enough, Soak is the class that benefits the most from having a Cleric in the group. So I guess the two bodies are nice together at the bottom, right? So that is what is dragging Soak really behind when it comes to the group PvE, right? In PvP, in 1v1 PvP, Soak fares better than Cleric because Soak is actually able to kill targets. But that's not really saying much because Soak has really middling CC. Freeze is kind of a meme. Like when you freeze a target, you're helping them more often than others because you're giving them a free Defiance to heal themselves, right? And the seal is unreliable. Really the main good debuff that you have is an anti-heal, which most classes have anyways, which enables Soak to be able to kill Cleric and Chanta, right? So Soak is actually fairly decent at killing the support classes, but Soak loses to all of the DPS classes. Like, Soak loses to the top 4, outright. It has a chance against these 3. It loses against these 4, outright. In 1v1 PvP. Soak damage is very high. Yeah, but the thing is, because Soak is so frail and has no funny tricks, the same way SM does, it just falls over and dies. That's the problem. And then in group PvP, it's the same problem. Sorc has no funny tricks. And while Sorc is able to do decent damage in PvP, you just legit have no fucking reason to bring a Sorc over any other class in PvP. For group PvP. So Sorc is honestly just bad in group PvP. Like, if it gets targeted in group PvP, it just fucking dies. Yes, it has the ice block. The ice block is the weakest invuln in the game because you're not able to act while you're blocked. No Bard or Gunslinger? Not yet. And as I said, Sorc has no life leech, which is functionally the only class in the game, except for Cleric, that doesn't have life leeching, but at least Cleric is able to heal itself. Now, Sorc does have a bit of life leeching, but it is on like skills that you never use, so functionally it really doesn't have any, right? So that immediately like also tanks Sorc, because life leech is so absurdly strong. Like, life leech is this game's biggest problem right now, both in PvE and PvP. It fucks the balance beyond recognition. Like, if life leech was not a thing in this game, that tier list would look very different. But fact of the matter is, it exists, and the two classes that don't have it are at the bottom right now. And there's probably a correlation here. But yeah. This is my tier list. As I said, it is factual, and if you disagree, you're wrong. But more seriously, if you think I'm out of touch, if you think I'm completely fucking wrong, feel free to like tell me otherwise. Like, I haven't covered every single aspect of every class and why they land specifically where they are, right? Like for Assassin, like Trinials, even though it got nerfed, is still a pretty polarizing tool, right, in PvP. Like Chanta, another reason why Chanta is A is, in spite of being a melee, its main DPS tool is Dark Crush, which has a 20-meter range, which allows Chanta to do ranged mechanics in PvE, and also allows Chanta to keep ranged pressure in PvP, right? Also has an anti-heal, etc. Like, there's a bunch of other like arguments that can be made with all of these classes, right? But broadly speaking, just giving a quick look at everything, this is where the classes land, in my opinion. I don't think Chanta would work as a healer without life leech. The thing is that Chanta is supposed to be a support that you can use as a main healer for lighter content, but you should not be able to run Chanta as a main healer in the current endgame raid. But you can do that right now because life leech is so powerful. Like, Cleric sacrifices DPS and utility for its healing kit. It should be able to put it to use. Like, thing is, I know people look at this and they're like, I mean, they're doing this because they don't want people to be stuck with not being able to run content without a Cleric. But this is a Trinity game. You chose to make this game a Trinity game, right? When you play a Trinity game, you need a tank, you need a healer, and you need DPS. You need the tank to hold aggro, you need the healer to heal the group, and you need the DPS to beat the enrage, right? That is how you build a Trinity game. Now, if they want to move away from the Trinity game formula, they can. They can keep the life leech, but then they're going to have to rework a bunch of classes. They're going to have to give even amount of life leeching to all of the classes. They're going to have to give even amount of RDPS to all of the classes, because then you don't have a reason to have a hierarchy if every class functions the same, right? So you know what I mean? So it's a bit of pick one situation, right? Oh, and also just a quick mention for Cleric, because I play the class, right? So I'm able to talk more about it. They have no fucking idea what they want to do with Cleric. Like, since the beginning, they have had no fucking idea. And if you just need one example of something that doesn't make any fucking sense on Cleric, the way Resurrection works in this game is everyone has access to self-resurrection stones that have a 15-second cooldown. You can only use them in PvE, right? And in raid content, you're only able to resurrect 2 times. Now, Cleric has a resurrection skill, right? With a 2 minutes cooldown. And it's a stigma, which means that you have to sacrifice a stigma slot to run the Resurrection Stigma. To have a Resurrection that has literally 6 times the cooldown of a self-res stone. Make it make sense. And then on the flip side, no one else is able to res the Cleric, which means that Cleric is the only class in the game that has to use Resurrection Stones. It's another one of those cases where the Resurrection system should just be a life system, and they should just remove the Cleric Resurrection, right? Either that, or they make it so Cleric gives a passive self-resurrection to the entire group. So this way, every class has the same self-res like abilities when you have a Cleric in the group. And then, you know, it would bump Cleric up a bit for like new raids, because you would carry a Cleric the ability to never use stones, right? But you know, it's just another one of those things. Is this a DPS or utility tier list? This is an everything tier list. It's like looking at all of the different content in the game, solo PvE, group PvE, solo PvP, group PvP, like miscellaneous and everything. It's like accounting for everything. This is the tier list for that, right? But yeah. If you give Chanta a rise skill, no need for Cleric. I mean, they should not give Chanta a resurrection skill. Like, they should, as I said, either they just remove the resurrection and just put in a life system and remove the self-res stones, or they give Cleric, like, let's say they give LOP on Cleric a self-resurrection passive. So when you have LOP active, if someone dies within your LOP range, they can self-resurrect, including the Cleric, right? If they do that, okay, sure, that's fair, right? Would also give a perk to run LOP over Undefeated during prog, right? I think that would be fine. But as it currently stands, the entire resurrection system makes no sense. Can you explain why healers in B clerics are... A self-1k cleric be carrying the new raid? I mean, you can go back on what I said, but bottom line is, like, cleric is just very confused as a class right now. It's the lowest DPS class, and it sacrifices that the DPS and the utility for healing that is unneeded in 99% of the content because of life leeching. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, cleric at endgame isn't very needed, is the bottom line. Like, at endgame as a cleric, you run all DPS stigmas and you never press a heal because you never need to. Like, the only healing stigma you carry as a cleric is benevolence. You just get some passive healing on people just in case they need it. But trust me, even if you don't press that button, nobody's gonna fucking die because life leech is that insane. Skill system should be reworked, it sucks. Well, that's another discussion. But yeah, there we go. Does Ranger is good for PvP to run evasion plus accuracy, or what is your opinion at best? I think Ranger gets away with running evasion because it has a huge part of its kit that penetrates evasion and block. So accuracy Ranger is strong, but Evasion Ranger is able to nuke evasion and block targets under buffs, even without accuracy because of that. Price team as the to replace with a self-res on LOP would be nice, right? Would be nice. Yeah, and then they just like replace Summon Resurrection with something else. Like, I do think Cleric is in dire need of some sort of better utility stigma, because Cleric really only has defensive stigmas. I think it would be nice if Cleric had like a good PvP DPS stigma. Like, I think they should give Cleric a DPS stance for PvP. Like something that nukes your healing capability but makes you more of a DPS would be nice. Like a stance that drastically increases your status effect chance and stuff like that, and increases your, I don't know, increases your crit, your accuracy, your attack, etc., but reduces your incoming, like, your healing boost by like 80% or something, right? Like something like that would be nice. Like having a DPS stance, so this way Cleric has the option to do solo PvP would be cool. Noble Energy needs a boost. Yeah, I think it would be nice if Noble Energy was made better for PvP, and I think one thing they could do with it is make it ignore block and evasion. But, you know, like we are getting into like another territory, like into, you know, a different territory. Like for now, this is just the tier list. Maybe I'll put this on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, in which case, just say hi, YouTube, I guess. Who knows? I would have to reorganize this, like, you know, cut it a little bit to be more presentable, but yeah. That is it. That is the tier list. And thanks for the follow, Ace Ballman. Appreciate it. And on that note, chat, I'm gonna be done for today. I want my Glad to get nerfed. I mean, right now Glad is really fucking good, brother, and they haven't been really concerned about the state of it. So we'll see in season 4, right? But yeah. Anyways, fellas, I'm gonna be done for today. I know it's a bit of a short stream, right? But I have a bit of a headache right now. I'm not really in the mood, so you know, I just wanted to get a quick stream out. I'll see if I do a late stream tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. Maybe I'll just take tomorrow off. I might. We'll see. But yeah, either way, thanks for watching today. Make sure to leave a follow on both Twitch and YouTube if you haven't already. And make sure to jump on the Discord as well to be made aware of my whereabouts. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Maybe I'll look into like bringing in some variety for this month. Like the month leading to season 4, I think I'm gonna take it a bit easier. Maybe we'll do some variety. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. But yeah, either way, have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a good night. And I'll be seeing you guys next time. You should do a 10 actual things to change video and send NC America. Brother, I already made a 10 things I want to see change in this, in this game video like 3 weeks ago. And I sent it to NC Soft. So, I mean, I should make another one because like there's other stuff I want to see change. But you know what? Whatever. But either way, I'll see you guys next time. GG's.